Welcome back to the channel as we continue my summer deep dive into the 2024 NFL draft class with the defensive tackle position. In this video, I'm going to go over my top 10 defensive tackle prospects. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to today's sponsor, DIYOJ, for the custom jersey. Look at this sucker. It's nice. They got baseball jerseys, football, basketball. They got hoodies. They got hats. If you want a custom made jersey, use promo code Broshmo 10. The link's in the description. It'll get you 10% off a purchase of one of those custom made jerseys. But let's go ahead, get into this sucker with number 10, Rook Aurora out of CLEMSON. I'm pretty sure I knocked that name out of the park, but this dude is 6'4", 295. He was a former 3-star recruit from the 2021 recruiting class. He did primarily, kind of wild, he primarily played basketball in high school and didn't play football until his junior year. He also wrestled in high school as well, and he actually moved to the U.S. at the age of 9, originally from Nigeria, but he has been a starter for at least for the last 2 seasons, with 9 starts actually in 2022 and in 2021, and he is just freaking explosive. This dude just comes off the snap. Very good athlete for the position. He knows how to get skinny and shoot gaps. There are times where he just meets the running back right there at the handoff. Very powerful hands. He will sometimes just stun blockers with that first jab or first initial contact. Plays with good leverage despite being 6'4". Again, it's kind of you kind of start to get in the realm of those taller guys on the defensive interior, but he plays with good leverage nonetheless. Total nightmare to handle, strong lower body. We've seen this guy walk blockers right into the back of right into the backfield, into the laps of quarterbacks. He actually deals with double teams pretty darn well, which that's going to put you pretty high on this list. Shows just really good balance, and he was used all over Clemson's front. Really was, anywhere from edge to nose tackle. So we're talking like 5-7 tech to 0 tech, man. This is the guy that can wear multiple hats for your defense. However, the hiccups I have with him, he is still a bit raw. His hand usage, hand placement could be a bit better. It's inconsistent as of right now. There are times when he is just stonewall and he doesn't have many ways of freeing himself or disengaging from contact. The anchor in the run game comes and goes. It's not, I feel like if he's not told to just go and get after it, then he gets tall trying to see what's happening in the backfield. Also another guy that's, I say another guy, but also a guy that is susceptible to cut blocks there at the knees, but a very good prospect. He's going to be in everybody's top 10s, I imagine. But let's go ahead, move on to number 9, as I have Dante Corleone out of Cincinnati. With a name like that, you best believe his nickname is the Godfather of the Bearcats here. And just had 1 start last year. He missed the final game with undisclosed injury, but definitely saw plenty of play in 2022 and looked pretty darn impressive at 6'2", 320. Big body, nice low center of gravity, and he plays with natural leverage. He's able to generate a lot of power with his lower body, and he just continues to drive his legs through contact. If you're not new to the channel, you know I love, regardless of the position, guys who just continue to drive their legs even through contact. It's just a beautiful thing. This is a cat that can force his way through double teams. Good example of that, go watch the Indiana game, which is one of the few against Power 5 competition. Kind of wish it was a better Power 5 team, but it kind of is what it is. He is strong, and I like his ability to stack and shed. He consistently overwhelmed blockers with a very powerful hands, and just a very surprising first step for a guy his size. And as a run defender, like, he's very disciplined. He will not leave his assignments, and he can clog the middle, and he's shown excellent ability to wrap it up. Only a 4% missed tackle rate in 2022. However, you go and look at like the other Power 5 team he faced, being Arkansas. I went back to that game, and he was just continually stonewalled. Now, Arkansas actually had one of the better offensive lines there in college football last season, so I get it. He also combined that it was literally his debut, his first collegiate start. So it was like, it was a hard game to like sample, because it's like, okay, it's by far, it's the best competition they've saw all season, but it's his first start. It's legitimately the first time he saw collegiate play. So it was like kind of hard to gauge, because like I think it was week 4, that was that Indiana game where it was like, okay, here's the next Power 5 team, bam, goes off, and I'm just like, it was like a waterfall from then, because he was just simply amazing. So obviously a bigger sample size is kind of needed for this year, and see how he deals maybe with some of the teams on schedule. Actually, let's look up while I'm behind the computer. Let's go ahead and look up the Bearcats schedule for next season. All right, they got Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's they lost some guys on the offensive line. Iowa State, Oklahoma. Ooh, Oklahoma. That's gonna be an interesting one. Is this the? Oh, that's right. This is their first year in the Big 12. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Sample size is gonna, like, this year it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice getting that. All right, so I like that. Also, sometimes he does play a little bit ahead of himself. He wants to be first at the point of contact, or at least the point of attack. I think he does lack a little bit of length, a little stubby. They're also being a bigger guy, moderate pursuit speed. Who would have thought? He's not someone that's going to be playing sideline to sideline, but for what he brings to the table at that size, I think it's real nice. So early projection, I'm going to throw a 3rd round grade on him. Going to number 8, and I got him in my tweener category. It's Brandon Dorlus out of Oregon. And I have in the tweener category because of his usage. Last year, he was more used as an edge, but I think he projects as an interior player at 6'3", 290, 46 pressures last season, 2 sacks, and he kind of emerged in the shortened 2020 season. That's kind of when he first got on my radar. 2021, I thought he was gonna end up after a very strong season. I was like, man, I think maybe he could declare, decide to return, and I thought that was a good decision. I thought last year, okay, after last season, he kind of dangled between a day 2 and a day 3 prospect for me, but then decides to return. Not that he's an older prospect. He'll be 23 by the time he makes his, I suppose, by the beginning of the 2024 NFL season. But some of his best qualities is his play strength and his motor, man. He plays with a lot of urgency, a lot of hustle. He might not always be like a first to the party type of rusher, but he grinds out reps and finishes plays. You love to see that. I mean, he has so much strength in that upper body. Like, he won't be moved off his spot. He sacks and sheds exceptionally well with relative ease. He'll tear down ball carriers by just getting a couple of fingers on him. He's just a gritty player, and I really like that. He improved his pass rush toolbox. They're kicking mainly on the outside for the Oregon Ducks. Plays with very active hands, and he does a good job at kind of baiting tackles in. Like, I like his approach to rushing the passer there on the outside, and with that good length, he plays all over the place for Oregon, but I think he is probably going to end up being like a one gap defensive tackle in the NFL. At least that's where I'm projecting him. However, there are some concerns that come with that, because there's a lack of lower body strength when it comes to him. How will he deal with double teams like that? He can be a bit high cut, and play with high pads, and it kind of negates his ability to really push the pocket if you're playing high. So I do worry about that. There are times he'll be displaced on the interior, he'll lose balance and just kind of be moved in the run game. Now, while he is explosive and twitchy, that is for the interior. He's not a guy that can sustain that as an edge player in the NFL. And the change of direction, it's a bit slow. That's why I really consider him an interior guy. And I want to see the biggest area I want him to get better at is establishing and maintaining leverage. I want to see that from him. But I'm a big fan of Brandon Dorlus. I've been a big fan for a long time. He was on my top 10 defensive tackles list going into last season. Here he is again this season. We're going to stay in the tweener category with Akeem Mesidor out of Miami. The U, baby. That's right. I'm a Hurricanes fan. He was actually kind of wild because he was a Canadian football player, high school football player, one of 9, I think, siblings. So big family. But for his final year of high school, he ended up moving to Florida, where he was at. It was Clearwater Academy International. So it's a big place for highly sought out high school recruits. Initially played at West Virginia for his first 2 seasons, and it was that 2021 season where he kind of played everywhere along that defensive line for the Mountaineers, and decided to move back closer to home to be closer to his family. Came to the Hurricanes, made 9 starts last season, did miss the Southern Miss game early in the year because of a minor injury during practice, but the dude was great last season. 28 pressures, 8 sacks. He's 6'2", 280. That's what they currently list him coming out of spring camp, but plays all along the defensive line. Played a little nose tackle at Northwest Virginia, but he just explodes off the line. His get off is nutty. He combines that with really heavy hands, violent hands. I just love that. I love the suddenness he plays, or at least he plays with his hands. He has a variety of different pass rush moves, whether it's finesse, whether it's power. He's capable of a lot as a pass rusher. I like the pursuit speed and how he just gets after ball carriers. And the dude plays with a full tank. Hot motor. I love that. Plays with leverage there at 6'2". He's got a little bit of natural leverage to him and does a good job of just not being maneuvered in the run game or redirected in the run game. He can set the edge, or he can disrupt with a nice push-pull move. And there's just a lot I like about him. However, I would like to see a better plan of attack when approaching the pass rush. He doesn't really have many counters in his repertoire, and he does end up getting stonewalled early in a pass rush set, then typically he's dead in the water. He is a bit of a tweener. Honestly, probably best profiles is a penetrating 3-tech. That's where I have him right now. Kind of needs to throw a little bit more weight on. And I do feel like at times he just tries to win with those physical tools and doesn't know really how to respond after getting jammed. And because of that, man, he just gets locked up on defenders without a true answer. Kind of covered that a little bit earlier, but I think the tools with Mesidor is nutty. Absolutely nutty. And of course, I got to highlight one of my Hurricanes, and I'll tell you this, it won't be the last Hurricane on the list, but on to the next, as we're going to Tyler Davis out of Clemson, coming in at 6'2", 300 pounds. He was a former 4-star recruit from the 2019 class, and he had an interesting road along the way in terms of his Clemson careers. He had a very fruitful season his freshman year in 2019. There we go, where he made second team All ACC, and then he was slowed by an ankle injury in 2020. Only made 7 starts. Tore his bicep in week 3 of 2021. And he was expected to be out for 2 months. Was able to make a return a little earlier than that in week 8 against Pittsburgh. Did end up with 8 starts on the season. Made first team all ACC, so you love to see it. So last year I kind of thought would have been a year he came out in, because like a lot of people I think probably pegged him as a day 2 prospect going into the 2023 NFL draft. Had 11 starts, missed 2 with a minor undisclosed injury. Made first team all ACC, but decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna come back. I think Clemson's a better team than this. I think we should be competing for the ACC championship, which, I mean, they kind of were, but it is what it is. Did they win it? I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure they did. But, I mean, that Clemson team was a little bit of a, how would you say, they didn't play to expectation. I mean, it resulted in their OC getting canned. But Davis, man, dude plays with a lot of power in his frame, man. He does a good job of getting to the point of attack, and he's just tough to move in the run game. He's agile, uses those short area quicks to get clean hits in the strike zone of blockers. He's got a good toolbox of moves as well. He split time between nose tackle and 3-tech for Clemson, but I would say his body profile is better as a 3-tech in the NFL. Drops a heavy anchor, hard to move in the run game. He can cause pileups in the middle. Love to see it. Strong tackler as well with a 4% missed tackle rate. But I think the biggest focus, and he showed it a little bit last year, is injuries. Injuries have slowed him throughout his career the last 3 seasons, so you want to see him stay healthy. He does lack ideal length and does struggle to kind of maintain that leverage because of it, so that could be a hard sell in the NFL. Might not be any more than a day 2 pick, in my opinion, because of it. And he isn't the type of guy that's going to be able to take on double teams. He doesn't attack with the violence or the suddenness. So like when I talk about like suddenness, like with your hands, it's like quick movements, you know, that suddenness, that violence is what I'd like to see a little bit more of out of Tyler Davis. But I got a mid day 2 grade on him. On to Talik Williams out of Ohio State. Former 4-star recruit out of the 2021 class, 6'3", 315. The dude's got a big boy frame, man, and he's got a really good get off for being a bigger boy. He can penetrate gaps with an initial burst, displays very good feet and engagement, and plays with a low pad level as well. And you love to see that, because if you play with a low pad level, guess what? You're going to be able to get under, get leverage. Love to see that. He's got good length. He can reach and tear down blockers. He keep going. What is that? But he's very disciplined as a run defender as well. He's just very strong, hard to get off the spot. Plays with good balance. Do want to see more from him. He should, coming into this season, get a bigger slice of the pie there, as Ohio State, they just have a very deep core of players along the defensive line. Isn't the most sudden athlete. Was at times neutralized by cut blocks in the run game. Pursuit speed, it's all right. It's average. It is what it is. Can do more with his hands. Would love to see a little bit more of that suddenness, that violence. But yeah, I think he could do a little bit more to get disengagement, but he kind of fits the NFL profile for what you want to see. We saw a lot of guys that kind of hit length and size thresholds that probably went earlier than they should have, despite maybe a lack of production. But yeah, Talik Williams, man, I can't wait to see more of this cat. But let's go ahead, talk about my first rounders, because I got 4 of them. We're going to start with Talik Williams' teammate, Michael Hall Jr. out of Ohio State. We could call him Mike. He goes by Mike, so I'm just going to call him Mike. Mike Hall got as a top 20 grade, 6'2", 292, made 5 starts last season. Should see a bigger slice of the pie this year, but the dude has a powerful frame. He plays with a nice low center of gravity, gets leverage exceptionally quickly. And this is a little interesting to explain because like he pins ball like he's like a pinball off contact, and he does a good job of not staying engaged for too long. But it's not like it's more so blockers like bounce off of him. But like anytime I was watching this cat, like I did not see blockers being able to consistently keep him engaged, keep him latched up, locked up. And I really, really like that. And he actually has the ability to just like go out there and move offensive linemen at will, at his whim. You just love to see that. He showcases exceptionally powerful hands, especially on bull rushes, nasty cross chop, literally like derooting blockers off their spot. You love to see that. He wins his reps exceptionally quickly. Like from like, I think it was like the 4 games I watched, and I was just like mind blown. I was like, man, this guy kind of has it from a play style. And we'll get to some of the things I want to see more of or didn't like about him. But he drops a good anchor as a run defender. He's able to split double teams. He just knows how to defeat double teams. He can't be contained by double teams. And while his power is very impressive, my best trait is probably his first step. He's so explosive off the snap. Sometimes blockers aren't even out of their stances yet. He's just filthy, but lacks ideal arm length, and blockers do consistently. They're able to get under his pad, so I like to see him maybe play with a little bit better hands, just keeping himself a bit more clean. So if guys aren't able to get under there and lock on, then he's dead in the water because like the win rate wasn't nearly as high as I expected from an analytical standpoint. Like I was like, man, this guy's nuts, man. His win rate's got to be insane, but it really wasn't. So I was like, you kind of have the disparity between the analytics and the tape, and it's like typically, obviously, you're going to weigh the tape more, but you do want to see that win rate get up a little bit. Sometimes while facing double teams, his natural instinct is to try to just roll out of the play, which just opens up running lanes. So it's like, I want to see a little bit more discipline and staying at his assignment. With more snaps coming this year for him, I'd like to see the high-end play just happen a lot more often. And you'd be like, oh, it doesn't happen often enough. No, it does. It's just now he's going to be on the field a ton more. I just want to see that continue because he plays with a great motor, great pursuit, good closing speed. Love the change of direction. There's a lot to like about Mike Hall here out of Ohio State. All right, number 3, we got Maason Smith out of LSU. And I had to go to the 2021 tape for him, just because like he's bouncing back after an ACL injury. If you don't remember, in 2021, I think it was it the first play? It was in the first drive against Florida State. He tore his ACL while he was jumping in the air, celebrating, came down wrong, tore his ACL, out for the year. And I was like, no, that's the worst. You don't want to see him go out like that. And it's like, there's going to be stupid people out there and be like, well, that's a red flag to me. It's like, why? 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. And you're not going to think twice. You're not going to be like, look at a cat that's after a good stop, jumping in the air, giving it a nice little arm throw. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to mark him up. You only do that because he tore his ACL. Be like, oh, shouldn't be celebrating like this. Like, no, it was a freak accident. He just came down wrong. And it's going to be actually, this ties back. It's important because he's exceptionally explosive. And you want to see how explosive he is this season coming off the ACL injury. Because he actually played, at least in 2021, predominantly on the outside for LSU. But he is just a freaky athlete at 6'6", 310. He really is. He has much quicker feet than he has any right to have. Like, people loved the type of athlete that Gervon Dexter was. Well, Maason Smith is that, but had the production, had the win rate in 2021 to actually back being like drafted exceptionally high. He's just, again, nice frame, a lot of length. You love to see it. Plays with low pads. He can sink well. He will forklift blockers right into the laps of quarterbacks. I love the physicality he plays with. He thrives in close corners, and I really do hope that explosiveness remains there, because he is just so darn explosive for a 300-pounder. Plays with strong, violent hands, nasty bull rush, good push-pull move, nice cross chop, and I mean, like, those moves for him are like legitimately debilitating to blockers. Good range, plays with good physicality as a run defender, and once he drops the anchor, sets the edge, he does it exceptionally strong. It's got a nice heavy anchor. Some of the other things I'd be looking out for is, he is tall. He suffers from the tall lineman problem, where it's like, can he consistently sink low and get good leverage? Because there'll be moments where he just can't get low enough, or he'll lose out to guys with just better natural centers of gravity, and he'll just lose at the point of attack. So to make best use of that power, that explosiveness, that length, he's going to have to consistently keep getting low. There are times he does play a bit out of control, will work himself out of the play. Again, pulling all this from like 2021 tape. But I'm very excited to see him this season. I really am. Let's see how he comes back from that ACL. A guy that played predominantly on the outside for LSU, but I mean, I think he's got enough versatility to really play wherever the hell he wants. I'm thinking a big year. We could talk about Maason Smith in the top 10, but I got him as a top 20, and I have my number 2 edge or defensive interior player as a top 20 projection in Jer'Zhan Newton out of Illinois. Also goes by Johnny, but Jer'Zhan's just such a powerful name. Why am I just gonna call you Johnny? So got a little bit of lineage with his brothers in terms of like a pedigree, athletic pedigree, as 4 of his, or at least his 4 brothers, 2 of them played football at West Florida. 1 currently plays at Toledo, and then his cousin, I believe, Pro Wells, if you remember him, played at TCU at tight end. I think he's now in the USFL, but he was with the Cincinnati Bengals for a little bit, so you got a little bit of a pedigree there, and you like to see that. But man, this dude exploded last season. Really did. Like, we thought he was going to come out, and I kind of already had a day 2 grade on him, but he's like, nah, I'm a first round talent. Give me another year to cook in the oven, and boy, oh boy, watch out. And I think that's true, man. This is a good defensive interior class, at least initially. Like, I'm going to talk about a couple of names after I cover number 1, but there's some names in here to watch out for. But man, Newton plays, like, you're going to notice him immediately on tape just because he's got the dreads, got the predator look going on, but plays with his hair on fire. He just pins those ears back and just shoots into the opposing backfield. Great explosiveness, closes the gap between him and ball carriers exceptionally quickly, plays with quick hands, quick feet, defeats blocks exceptionally early. I think he was 7th last year along the defensive line in pressures, and 2nd among defensive interior players. Like, legitimately good. He's also very flexible, and you can typically interior players just don't have this type of bend. Like, it's nice. He's also very stout in the run game, which could stem from being 6'2", almost 300 pounds. You got that natural low center of gravity, but he won't allow himself to be run over. Plays with that good natural low center of gravity, and always works towards the play. You love to see that. He should test exceptionally well at the combine, plays with a great motor. He has a build that's more powerful than you would expect. However, does lack the ideal length. That's just going to be a big concern. He's consistently washed out in run games, or at least washed from where holes develop or lanes. So it's going to be a question, can he hang with NFL power? Also, won't be the most versatile guy with his size. He's probably a penetrating 3 tech, and that might be all he is at the NFL. Like, he just doesn't have the size to kick in much further than that. Maybe could have success at 5 tech though. So that's not out of the question, but that lack of length could be a little concerning. But as you can see, 59 pressures last season, absolutely nutty. But my number 1 is Leonard freaking Taylor out of the U, baby. 6'3", 305, man. Was a former 5-star recruit out of the 2021 class. Played in 9 games, more as a rotation guy in 2021. Played in every game last year, had 10 starts, and the dude... I'm going to start out with the con. I want to see a bit more consistency from him, but I think he has the highest of high-end reps in this class. Like, his high-end reps are a thing of a freaking beauty. He is a bulldozer, strong frame, jacked to the gill. You can confuse him for a linebacker. He carries that 305 freaking beautifully, like, mwah! You love to see it. He will forklift, manhandle guards and centers. Like, you just love it, man. Like, he is an absolute problem because he's just not powerful. He's also freaking athletic. He has good burst. He combines that with very good length, very good bull rush. Man, he will literally sit blockers into the laps of quarterbacks or use them as projectiles to get to the quarterback, man. His hands just control blockers like puppets, man. He's like a marionette out there. It's a thing of beauty. He'll keep the legs churning on contact. Just one of the most difficult interior players to stop. If you look, a 19.5 pass rush win rate, that was, I think, first among interior players in this class last season. And very disciplined run defender. He's capable of plugging gaps and settling in holes, waiting for ball carriers, man. He anchors well, stacks and sheds exceptionally great with relative ease. It's just sometimes he plays a bit tall. Like to see him sink the hips a little bit more, get that leverage a bit more consistently. Another year like last with a higher snap total, because that's another thing, man. He just needs to hit the field more often. I don't know what freaking Miami's doing, man. Get this guy on the field way more often, dude. The Hurricanes have so many good defensive recruits this year. How are we bad all the time? How, Sway, how? I freaking swear, but I honestly, like, I think he had the most dominant reps of anyone this season, and it didn't feel right putting anyone else at number 1, so I might be the outlier here. I don't think, I think Leonard Taylor is going to be in a lot of people's top 3s. I just don't think he's going to be number 1 for some people, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm go on a limb and say, yeah, nah, he hit. But there are two guys I kind of want to touch up on real quick on the interior that are day 2 prospects for me. With the first being Nazir Stackhouse. He's just built for the NFL. Like, the pass rush win rate might not be great for him, but he's got an NFL length, NFL body, plays the run so freaking well. He set things up so well for guys like Jalen Carter and just more explosive players around him that you just look at it and be like, no, that's a good NFL player. He is a good NFL player waiting to happen. It's Georgia, man. They got some. They just recruit great players, and then Duke has Dwayne Carter, and he is very, very interesting at 6'3", 305. Because golly gee, man, this dude plays with consistently great leverage. He's just stupid strong, and I really do think that he's probably, we're gonna consistently talk about him as a day 2 prospect. As Duke actually has some day two to, yeah, no, they probably have like 2 or 3 guys that could go day 2 in this upcoming class. So it'll be interesting. But someone I wanted to kind of like throw his name out there at least. I'll probably talk about him in a sleepers or my guys video before the season, because I really do want to touch up on him. A lot of other people do like Michigan's Chris Jenkins. It's just he plays at a tweener size, so I would like to see a little bit more meat from him. But a lot of his tape is really good as well. But he just kind of just missed the cut here. I mean, with his play strength, I didn't feel good about putting him in the tweener category, because I was like, no, this guy plays strong. Just needs more weight on his bones. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.